Propaganda. Propaganda to me is where the natural urge to persuade somebody of your own views or of the righteousness of your cause crosses the line from an act of persuasion to a more sinister act of willful misrepresentation, and a willingness to lie, in effect, for a higher or lower ambition. My name is Brett Dolman. I am a curator of collections for historic royal palaces. I'm also a 16th and 17th century historian. One of the more famous examples historically of the use of propaganda is Henry VIII's manipulation of his own image. He's often credited with somehow inventing propaganda, trying to persuade people of his very subjective notion of kingship, particularly in the development of his portrait, the famous image by Hans Holbein. But this is a painting that, though it's ubiquitous and one which came to stand for the king, it's one that everybody is familiar with, that knows anything at all about Henry VIII, it's actually a lie. By the end of his reign, Henry VIII was grossly overweight, a failure in the marriage bed and in foreign policy, whereas the painting tries to present Henry as a colossal, powerful, priapic figure. So it's an image that's designed to belie the truth, so it's Tudor propaganda. Henry VIII wanted to be seen as the most magnificent ruler in Europe, the best Renaissance prince. He just didn't want to be seen like this. He wanted to be the richest ruler, the most powerful, the most culturally sophisticated. And to do this, he built ostentatious palaces, he accumulated treasure and jewellery and works of art, and also he wanted to persuade people by his magnificently bejewelled personal presence. But these are all quite traditional ways of getting across an image of kingship, rather than sophisticated propaganda. An awful lot of things happened during Henry VIII's reign which were cataclysmic, revolutionary. Henry VIII tore up the spiritual fabric of England by breaking with the Church of Rome. And he was forced into a position, he forced himself into a position, through his repeated marriages as well, of having to justify his own actions to the population, to the court, to himself and to God. But throughout all of this, I think, Henry VIII fundamentally believed in the truth, the righteousness of what he was doing. This meant that he was guilty probably of quite ridiculous egocentric acts of persuasion, but not a willful campaign of misleading, not of propaganda. The only real victim, perhaps you could say, of Henry VIII's propaganda was the man himself.